Good afternoon. This is a short video. It's a review on the Volkswagen Golf Mark 6. This was a car I used to have many years ago. Mine was a 2009 model, 1.4S petrol. So it wasn't the most basic, it was one up from the basic model. And I have to say, these cars have aged very well. They have a real premium feel to the car. From when you open the door and closing the door, it's got that real solid feel to it. It feels very well put together. In the actual compartment inside of the car, there's many soft plastics, lots of chrome trims around the air vents. The actual badge on the steering wheel is very sort of like blingy almost. Interior inside's actually very nice. It's even today's standards. It's aged very well, I have to say. The one I had, although it wasn't like top end, it was actually just one above the most basic spec. The one I had, had a lot of chrome in it, full electrics. Actual had indicators on the actual wing mirrors also. And the drive, although it was only just a 1.4, which is a small engine for the size of car it was absolutely a joy to drive. Going up the gears, changing the gears, it's such a smooth gear change. Handled well around corners, and it was probably the most smoothest car I ever owned. Mine's had 18-inch alloy wheels on the car. Now, if you know your cars, anyone knows who knows their cars, the bigger the wheel you have, the more, or should I say, the less smooth the car will ride. But even with 18-inch alloys, it rode very smoothly. It soaked up the bumps very well. It was very smooth to the point where it felt almost like you were in an SUV, and it soaked up the bumps very well. Space in the car was amazing also. A lot of room in the rear, a lot of room in the front, and the actual boot space in the car was actually very generous. It wasn't the biggest, but it was not the smallest either. It was very generous. It was a average size hatchback, but very well built. I had the car for a good 5 years, and I have to say it's probably one of the most reliable cars I have had. The thing with them cars, unfortunately, when they get to a certain age, I think it's maybe over six, maybe about over 7 years old, most of the time they will develop a fault with the anti-lock braking system. Now, the car is still safe to drive, but what happens is when the anti-lock braking system actually fails, the warning light comes on the dashboard. You can still drive it. You don't notice a difference in the drive whatsoever. However, if you're in the UK and this comes on, and you go for your MOT, it will fail its MOT without any doubt whatsoever. Now, I had a real nightmare of a job to actually find a mechanic who knows what they're doing, because it's not an easy job. It involves taking the ABS module out, and then replacing it, obviously. But many mechanics were very shy to do that. Most mechanics I went to would say, you're better just scrapping the car or selling it, just because it's a big job for them. Now, if you have this car or you're thinking of buying the car, and this is something to be aware of, because one, you'll need to get somebody to fix the anti-lock braking system if it goes. If you've got one already, or you're thinking of buying this car and that goes, you have to get that fixed. So it's about finding someone who knows what they're doing, but also bearing in mind to actually have this replaced. It's not, a couple £100. You could pay anything in the region of maybe 700 to just over £1,000. That's the only fault. The only fault I've developed. The only fault that the car I had developed. It's a great car to this day. Very good car. So if you are thinking of buying a Mark 6 Golf, what I would say is take your time, shop around. Be sure to actually check inside the boot also. underneath where the spare tyre is, because the rubber seals tend to go after a certain amount of time. When it rains, water gets into the boot and eventually will cause corrosion within the boot. Now, in order to check the car you're buying doesn't suffer from that problem, you basically just look at the spare tyre bit and just check if there's any corrosion, check the actual carpet of the boot for any dampness. If you find there is dampness in that area, I would not say don't buy the car, but what I would say is use that to actually negotiate the price. If there is dampness, the rubber seals in the boot will actually need replaced, and that is usually about £90 supplied and fitted, and it will last a good five years or more, you know. Also, check that the car's got a full service history. Just check for obvious things like, you know, your brake discs, just check there's no any corrosion around them, check your tyres obviously, and check the bodywork. If they're not looked after, they tend to suffer corrosion around the wheel arches and under the door sills. Apart from everything I've mentioned, very, very good cars. If you are going to buy one, I would make sure you get a very, very good example. If you're going to spend maybe about 5-6 grand, that will get you a good one. If you're buying one for maybe 2-3 grand, the likelihood is it's one that's not been looked after. So I would always say spend more money, and then you'll have more peace of mind and you'll get more value for your money. If you've liked this video and you found it's helped you, please like and subscribe to my channel, where I'll be making other reviews on other cars, as well as just general advice on the subject of cars. Thank you for watching. Take care.